we have an obligation. We as a society, as a community, I think, are ultimately evaluated on how we help, how we support the most vulnerable people among us. And I think being on the board here has given me an opportunity, as someone who spent a lifetime in healthcare service, to be supportive to what I think is a critically important service that's provided here in our community.
Parts of Penn still look like a disaster zone and will for a while. Take a look. Today, crews began tackling the big task of cleaning up a building that partially collapsed there. Cars are also stuck, and Yates Arc will recently underwent a remodeling.
All the floors were done. We reconfigured all of the space here. We put a nice new kitchen and cafeteria in, and there are 100 people that occupy the space on a daily basis.
This building services people from all over Yates County with developmental disabilities. There are day programs, physical therapy, and psychiatric treatments offered here daily. There's even a manufacturing area where clients get paid to do packaging work for a local company, all now disrupted by the flood.
We turned down on North Avenue, and it was the same thing. Water was just cascading down the hill, collecting at the bridge that's just outside of the agency where 235 is, and you could see the water just completely rising up at that point. When we had turned into the parking lot of 235, literally a lake of water had been in that area from where the parking lot dips to the road, and it must have been at least a good 2 feet of water that had just pooled in the parking lot, and literally creating waves that had crashed against the building.
Well, our front parking lot was starting to fill up, and the water was coming down North Avenue about 12 to 18 inches deep, like a river, like the Grand Canyon almost. Not good. A lot of water coming real fast. I'm old, but I've never seen a rainstorm like that anywhere. Anywhere I've ever lived, I've never seen that much rain coming down. You literally could not look skyward because it would hit you in the eyes so hard it hurt. And we all threw sandbags in the trucks, and then we proceeded to sandbag the front of the building. By the time we threw the last sandbag, we were all shin deep in water. So the water was already starting to hit. And it was full of mud. And pretty much at that point, we went around the south end of the building and found that the buses and vans were all starting to go underwater from that flooding.
You could see through the windows some of the computers that we had sitting on the floor that were at least in 6 inches plus of water, and even some of the power strips that had been submerged completely underwater. I remember one of the computers was actually still on, and I had no idea how.
It got to be about 3 or so in the morning, and we knew we were baked, that we'd lost. And I sent everybody home for dry clothes. And I was standing on the north end of the building on the sidewalk looking up North Ave where the handrail is along the end of the building. And as I looked up the hill, there's all these wheelbarrows and pieces of log and barbecue grills and tires coming down the hill in the 18 inches of water. And it's moving pretty quickly. I was standing there looking up the hill, and I was kind of transfixed. I'm looking at it going, wow, that's a lot of stuff. Then it hit me. I'm in the way. Where I'm standing is not good, so I jumped up on the retaining wall, which was smart because the stuff went rushing by, and I went, wow, that was really going to hurt. That probably would have hurt quite a bit. But the second scariest one was when we went back inside and we could see the water starting to, it was just the doorways aren't a tight fit, so it was ejecting water, literally just shooting it into the building and coming up around the foundation, shooting up into the air like a water fountain. And that was pretty scary. I kind of felt sick because I knew at that point we had failed and we were done.
The waters along the front were so high that we couldn't open the doors to get out, and the water was getting so close to the electrical panel. He said it was within a few inches, and he just kept saying, the building's gonna blow, we need to get out of here. So that's when we decided to swim through the back parking lot and get out.
The rains came again, and all the drainage that surrounded the building was now blocked, and there was nowhere for water to go. So this was the most frightening time because we really suffered a great deal of damage then. We went into the building and found that the original flooding had now washed up on the walls. It had destroyed a lot of the furniture. It had done just a significant amount of damage, and that beautiful renovation that I spoke to you about earlier was really decimated. That was the scary part. The first one we could have taken in stride, but the second one was the one that was most devastating. So anyway, in between the time of the first flood and the second flood, we made a determination to continue services for the Dahab people. We had 150 people being supported in that building, and we were not going to, any more than possible, interrupt the services that we provide to those people. So we instantly thought about the building, our administrative building, and how might we be able to use this building, and what other buildings would be possible for use in trying to displace the people that came out of services of the 235 building. While we were figuring this out, most of the individuals were staying home, and we provided day services for them in their homes. And this really gave us a chance. The entire county was a state of disaster, so we wouldn't have wanted to be transporting people during that time anyway. So this gave us an opportunity to really think and plan. Again, we were caring for people in their homes. Now, how could we bring them back into programs? So we had, our agency was technically closed on those 3 days as well, so staff under those circumstances were not even required to report to work. But I would tell you that we had an agency full of staff there helping us move all of the furnishings that could possibly be moved, sterilize all of those furnishings, and set up our 240 Powell Lane building as our emergency building in order to provide services. So it was an amazing feat undertaken by an amazing group of people. And we did it. Actually, in 3 days' time, we were able to bring people back and begin to provide the Dahab services. And we set up a little work center in what used to be our dance studio. And so we did not really miss a beat during those at the end of those 3 days.
I think I saw staff working with our people, very frankly, as I always do. They were there and they were committed. They came in on their time off. They worked so hard, particularly in those first days where we were back up and running in 240, I think, by Monday after the storm, and the two storms. And I think that's a testament to the work that staff did. When I toured 240 with Kate the next week, were the conditions difficult? Yes, they were. Yes, but we had our staff there, and our people were happy. They were with people they knew and loved, and they were doing what they liked to do. And were people crowded? Yes. Was the situation difficult? Yes. But our staff was there and making it work. And from a board's perspective, that is, you can't put a price on that.
But I know there's going to be changes, and I really Don't like to see changes, but gotta get used to that. So.
What's it been? 8 or 9 months at this point. That it's starting to show and wear. So my hope is definitely that we can get back into the 235 building and quickly recover so that they can enjoy the space that they had prior. Again, I hope that the village area that they had created can be at least restored back to the significance that had been there prior, because they really enjoyed and loved that space, and for it to just be taken away within just a matter of 6 months of having it, it just has to be extremely impactful on their lives.
You just have to really keep thinking about what can we do, what are the positive things that we can move toward.
We're getting there. Slow, too slow.